Hello and welcome to our last session of our Leader Talk today, Emerging Trends and Learning Tech, sponsored by Biz Library, ELB Learning, Open Sesame, Allego, and IMC Learning. I am Liz Spate, the Events Marketing Specialist here at Training Industry, and I'm thrilled to have you with us here today. Before we get started, I would like to quickly go over a few housekeeping items to help you interact with our speaker and get the most out of today's program. Throughout today's event, please feel free to use that chat window for any comments and submit those questions in the Q&A panel. All questions will be addressed kind of somewhat throughout the event and at the end. And at the end of your time with us today, you will notice that short survey pop open in another tab in your browser, and we would appreciate your thoughts on today's event. And all of our sessions are being recorded and archived on trainingindustry.com, and you will receive an email from us today with the link to the on-demand sessions. If this is your first industry event with us, we would love to welcome you. We exist to make connections among learning and development professionals. We offer tons of resources to support your role in L&D, like live events like today's Leader Talk, as well as through articles on our website, our magazine, conferences, research reports, our podcast, and membership. So visit Training Industry to learn more. And we would also love to hear about what you learned from today's session on social media. So follow us on any platform that you choose so we can continue the conversation. Without further ado, we have an amazing two speakers. We have Thomas, who is a project manager of Learning Solutions and has dedicated more than 25 years of his professional career to the retail training organization of Mercedes-Benz Global Training, and currently serving as a project manager for Learning Solutions. Thomas is responsible for overseeing the learning management systems, focusing on non-direct learning features, and acts as a product owner for the Rapid Offboarding tool. And then Amanda Kimmel is an account executive at IMC Learning, specializing in learning technology, enterprise sales, and L&D solutions, with a strong background in corporate learning, talent development, and learning technology sales. And she helps organizations optimize their learning ecosystem through digital solutions. And with that, Amanda and Thomas, take it away.
Thank you so much, Liz, for having us. We're really looking forward to today's session, and thank you to everybody in attendance. We'll go ahead and share our screen, and if Liz, you might be able to help us in providing the URL in the chat for everybody. Everyone will be able to follow along in both the session today with the content that we've developed through one of the IMC learning technologies or tools called IMC Express. And I will begin here to share my screen because we will also preview this along the way. If you could give me a nod, Thomas or Liz, that looks good for everyone. Greatly appreciate it. For those of you that are just getting acclimated with IMC or IMC Learning, we are a global technology learning provider. We are based in Germany, and I come to you today locally from the US. We're really excited to have you. And as you follow along with today's session, whether you prefer to do that through the web browser or along with us here in the screen share of today's session. Most importantly, I'm very excited to introduce to you Thomas Schmid, that we have the wonderful opportunity to partner with in the learning innovations of Mercedes-Benz and Thomas's great work with the organization. So we'd like to go ahead and begin with Thomas to share a very exciting story about a transformation project that he's working on within Mercedes-Benz.
So yeah, hello everybody, also from my side. So thank you, Amanda, for introducing me, and also to Liz. So yeah, I look forward, and we're going to show you how we are dealing, using the tools with AI functionality and integrate them in our learning environment. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Sounds very good. Well, thank you, Thomas. We'd love today to learn a little bit more about the transformation project that you're working on with global training at Mercedes-Benz. And as we're clicking through here, some of the slides, you do have access to this information. But most importantly, Thomas, very excited to hear about your span and reach within the organization and some of the transformation to over what I understand to be 350,000 global learners. So I'd love to hear a little bit more from you and share your great story with today's audience about the learners that you're reaching within the organization and what came to life here as far as some of the transformation project and how it was formed.
Yeah, I don't need to tell you a little bit more about our company. So I think everybody's knowing Mercedes-Benz. So we're dealing with luxury cars, and I'm from a training department, and we as Global Training, our customers are the retail organization worldwide. So like Amanda mentioned, we have around about 350,000 people worldwide. In nearly every country, including China. We have now a system running also from IMC, the learning management system. We are caring about it. And now our goal is to use to introduce more modern tools like IMC Express, rapid authoring tools, to automate a lot of the processes without losing quality, to be honest, so that we are very fast in content production and publishing the contents towards the learners worldwide. That's what we are dealing at the moment with, and that's what we are going to show you today, how we are going to achieve this. And I think we're on a good way.
Thank you for that, Thomas. And certainly, we would love to dig into a little bit more. I appreciate you setting the stage with some of your background and the great experience that you have with the organization and the reach of the diverse audience that you're working with. So certainly today, in thinking, more about, tell us, we're very curious to hear about your learner profile and some of those challenges that you were up against in creating a new solution.
Yeah, so from the learner side, so as mentioned, the retail organization, of course, it's everybody working in a retail outlet, from sales to after sales, also to the management. Most people are our target group, so they have a learner profile in our learning management system. And we deal also with skills and so on, but we need to deliver personalized trainings to their staff, as well as information. So it's not all about that we are delivering e-learnings, high sophisticated e-learnings. Sometimes it's necessary also to spread information to our global audience. Therefore, we also created a function called channels, so which is also now available in our learning management system. And we deal with channels now in a way that we deliver non-directed learning stuff now since more than around about 10 years with different applications. So yeah, that's a view in one of our channels, which is now provided through our learning management system. And the challenge was how to produce the content for those channels. So that's where we figured out and tried out some tools. Some are pretty good, some are offering a lot of functionality, but are too complex for our worldwide editors. And that's why we looked for an easy-to-use tool and found a tool called IMC Express, which is a rapid authoring tool. And that's what we tested in a pilot period, and then we decided to roll it out globally so that all of our editors worldwide can use the tool and easy create content, and at the end directly publish the content in our learning management system. Not only for the channel area, so you can also really produce core content and upload it into the learning management system.
Thank you so much for that, Thomas. And I think we also wanted to prompt a poll. So I might ask you here, Liz, if you would be happy to share this with the audience of how much your learning is self-directed. And as we're thinking about that, and Thomas and the opportunity here in creating and transforming learning within Mercedes-Benz, really began to take a focus of self-directed learning. So we look forward to hearing and seeing where you're at with this within your own organizations. Give it a few more seconds there so everybody has the chance to participate. Great.
Great result.
Yeah, we are seeing some good results there, and with recent trends and really maybe more of a content pull versus push approach. I think we've seen a number of changes here over the most recent years, and certainly, Thomas, I value your insight and perspective on maybe how this has aligned within the Mercedes-Benz organization and where that vision was, where the vision came from, and hearing from your learners. Was it something that you and your team had in mind? We certainly would love to understand that further.
Yeah, as mentioned, we already started more than 10 years ago to offer self-directed learning. So and that's not only that we created e-learning. So I was in touch with producing computer-based training programs now for 30 years. So we tried it out very early. Professionalized it in the beginning of the last decade. Now for more than 10 years, we need to produce more and more digital content. Of course, the pandemic period helped us a lot to change to the digital training world. So before the pandemic, I think it was more a 50-50 solution between face-to-face training and self-directed trainings. So pandemic helped us, but also the cost aspects, because you cannot train everything by a face-to-face training, or even to always to create high sophisticated e-learning programs, having also different suppliers who are producing the e-trainings for you. Instead, why we did a switch and said we need to have the skills internally with our so that our editors are able to create the contents on their own by using up-to-date tools. And that's why we changed more and more to the non-directed learning world, and try to introduce those tools and focus on getting our staff trained to using those tools.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Thomas, and love to hear as you have quite the enterprise to reach and various needs from a local perspective as well, both as in thinking of your content authors and also your learners' needs. If you could tell us a little more about what their reaction was to the channel's training and what you found as far as success, and also what it would take and what it does take to sustain the channel offering and self-directed learning within the organization?
It's still a bit of a challenge. So if you have editors in your company who are used to create conventional face-to-face trainings, blended learnings, including e-learnings, but they do not produce the e-learnings for themselves, and you need to train them to use a tool to create the content on their own. So you have to convince them and show the advantages that they can produce training content faster and publish it to the retail organization in nearly every language really fast now. That's a challenge, and there are still some people who need to be convinced, not only on the German headquarters side, but also in the different markets. So every market is working a little bit different in their own training organization. So that's a challenge. On the learner side, the people like the idea, and it was also good to offer self-directed learning, especially through the channel area, because normally the people behave in the way when they need to learn, they wait until they are enrolled to a course. So even if it's an e-learning, normally they go only into the system, into the learning management system, when they are enrolled to a course. In their daily work, the touch points to the learning management system are not so, there are not so many touch points. But through the channel world, and when you regularly post contents for specific topics, the people are interested, so that they also get side information, not only in form of a mandatory e-training, but as well if there's information about a new product, a new feature. We also use social learning features like forum, where the people can interact, and even between the different dealerships, that they can do an interchange if they have a customer vehicle with a problem and maybe they cannot solve it even with the internal communication, so they help each other. So that's how now the people are, the learners in the retail organizations are getting more and more used to it, and they want it. So we have now, depending or comparing to round about 5 years ago, I think the usage of the channel world, especially, and those contents we provide, is 10 times more than it was.
Great.
I was about to say, we have a question already.
Wonderful.
Great conversation. And so we have a question saying, can you share some tips on encouraging self-direct learning among people or stakeholders?
Very good question. Tips are, first point is the content in the topic must be interesting. So I think when we look what is coming up using AI features in the future, I think it's not necessary to build training content on standard things which can be found in a documentation in other systems. So, and it's even maybe not necessary to update this material and bring it into a learning content. So what can be, if users have a question, they want to have an answer. So, and that's where we're using more and more the AI-driven system. So you must make it interesting. So, and especially it must be produced in a way that there are short learning nuggets. So I know it from our audience, if you create 30-minute clip or content, they maybe switch off after 5 minutes because they don't have the time during their daily work. So make it attractive, have the right topics, and make small learning nuggets. That's very important. And of course, you need to convince, and it was the second part of the other side, you need to convince your internal staff. You need to train them to give them the skills to produce contents like that. And if it's wrong stuff, maybe you need to look for people who have the right skills producing these contents for you. So that's also important. So you need to convince your internal editorial team members who are responsible for the content, creating the courses and whatever, and dealing with the systems, as well as it must be interesting for the learners. And what we are also now doing is, depending from how large your company is, what we try to do is we want to bring the content and everything from our learning management system into the daily systems of the learners. So they don't need to move over to the learning management system to open a channel, to open a course, make an e-learning, enroll to a course. Now we bring the training world to those points where the learners are. So one example, our after sales employees, of course, they are dealing with diagnosis system, workshop information system, and whatever. They need to repair cars, and you need to be there in these systems when they search up for something. Maybe they can also find contents which are located in the learning management system. I hope I answered this question, how we are dealing with it. And yeah.
Thank you, Thomas. We can learn more, hear more in the chat from the audience of participants as well. I think you had mentioned here, and with the view of both prior bringing the channels to your learners in this view and making the learning interesting, engaging, enticing, but also in how you're connecting that within their daily work. Very, very important, right? And meeting learners where they are. I thank you for that. And I'm thinking too about the interactive nature of the content. We can share a little bit more about the IMC Express tool that you're leveraging for the creation of your content and the channels and such. Any particular interactivity that you like or incorporate specifically within that learning, within the content you're providing in the channels?
It's especially when I look on our editors, normally they have a lot of material. So like Word documents, PowerPoints, even images already available. So if we want to make it easy for them, and the tool also offers possibilities to upload those material using some AI functionality, and to create a first draft of your digital content, and that's very important. And there's a good start point, and then they can use the tool features like adding flip cards and questions and whatever they want to deal with. Also using AI functionality, so they don't need to write everything on their own. They can interact with the AI inside the tool and modify everything, upload images, and it's pretty easy to use, and that's very important. But I think the start point for most of our editors is they have materials, and the material must be uploaded into the tool, and then the tool should create out of that the first draft.
Thank you for sharing that.
I was going to say, the Q&A is bumping right now. We got like 4 questions for you, Thomas. They're really good. So you let me know when the stopping point to make sure that we cover all content. But Alex asked, how much content did you initially begin with when you first started?
Well, when we started with the channel world, contents like this, I think at the beginning, before we launched the first channel, we already had 30 to 40 contents. And if I overlook it now, worldwide, our markets now operate altogether more than 500 channels on different topics. We, as a global training, we provide materials normally to our local training organizations in the markets, and they provide it to the learners. But now we are preparing. We already launched a so-called global channel. So now our goal is to produce the contents centrally in more than 30 languages, also using the tool, and then provide it to an audience which is around about 250,000 learners worldwide. So our German editors in the headquarters create the content using the tool, also using, I think we talk also a little bit about the machine translation function, voiceovers, which is integrated in the tool as well. And at the end, they directly publish it into our channel world. And at the moment, we have more than 50,000 subscribers already on a global channel. And the plan is to reach every learner in our retail organization worldwide. So if there's coming up a new information on for example, maybe some of you know that we are launching a lot of products in the next couple of months. And along those products, once the press releases are there, we directly launch 1 or 2 days later first basic information from global training towards all learners worldwide. That's also created by the tool.
Wonderful. Yeah, the need for speed. And we're certainly glad to be a part of that journey, Thomas. I think you've captured on a bit of the functionality with the tool. So having that ability to begin with existing content and really being able to extend within the organization to bring in subject matter experts and providing a safe space for them to be able to collaborate with instructional designers and such to be able to shape up that content together and or empower others to also be involved in the process. The tool is definitely designed to provide that speed and ease in really transforming content. So I'm glad to hear how that's working and how that's helping when it comes to your product launches and in the organization as well, and being able to turn around materials and the e-learning very quickly for your audiences. We might touch on the use of AI, but Liz, you also have, looks like some questions coming in, huh?
Yes, we're at like 4 or 5 right now. So you let me know and we'll keep it going. But I do like these ones. I'm going to kind of mix these 2 questions together because I think you can kind of touch on both. What factors did you consider when launching the content you chose? And when using the IMC tool, what data points were helpful to you?
Maybe for the second point, yeah, I mentioned already. So it's important for the editors so that they can upload their contents. A very good function which is often used. We produce a lot of video stuff. So we have an own studio also from the training department. So we can also do broadcasts from our studio, but we also produce a lot of clips. With other tools in use, but especially this rapid authoring tool, IMC Express, offers the possibility to upload a video content, to do a transcript there, to do then the automatic machine translation, and even add an artificial voice to the other languages, and then provide a content in a lot of languages where the video is transcribed. And the quality is pretty good because there's a good machine translation service behind it, and also the best services offering artificial voices. So that's a pretty good function. Beside that, the tool is a little bit limited on the interactivity. That I have to say honestly that. Because we have not too much functions in there, but it's rapid. If you have too many functions, it's not easy to use for editors who are not used to authoring tools. So especially a functionality like flip cards and questions are a lot of used. And what is very important, or gets more and more important, is the AI assistance when producing the content. So you need just to place some content from anywhere, from your research department, and then you can use the AI functionality. Oh, create me out of that a Flipkart page, create me a question, do a summary of that. That's what we now use more and more. Of course, some of our editors are not familiar using AI functionality, so you have to bring it to them and explain it, that it makes their work much easier. So that's what we like when we use the tool.
Oh, fantastic. Another question, it was when you were speaking and they said, sorry if I misunderstood, but do you allow all users to create content or just a few editors in each area/country? How did you get over any concerns of duplication or content quality?
So we use now the tool only for our editors internally. Theoretical, you can offer the tool also for your learners to create content and upload it back to your learning management system. Would be possible. If it's necessary, it's depending from the use case. We use it just in the back end as a tool for our editors. And we have not only in Germany editors in the training organization, we have globally in nearly every market where we sell cars, we have a training organization or trainers and concept developers, and some of them also are focused on adapting contents to the needs of their own market. But every market, mostly the little bigger ones, have more stuff, where for the smaller markets, they can only take our global content and provide it to the learners. But the tool is not, the target group for the tool is not the learner, it's our so-called concept developers or curriculum designers in the US, or however you want to call them.
Great. Thank you both.
I can add, we have now also our, because we are the retail training organization. And of course, we have also in the headquarters and in the market headquarters, we have a training organization which belongs to the human resources department. And they do trainings for the internal staff, not for the retail organization, but those are their editors are now also interested in using that tool to create short learning nuggets for the internal staff as well.
Wonderful. No, thank you so much, Thomas, for sharing how the tool is helping reach various markets within the organization. And I think you have touched on here, some of the elements of IMC Express that have supported the goal of your digitized learning experience internally. So really, in recapping that ease, taking existing content and leveraging the tool to be able to build that training format for the team internally, instantly, and having some of that specific functionality that helps in providing some interactivity that is specific, as you mentioned, the flip cards and questions, swipe cards, adding key points, summarizing content. Those are, deliberate in keeping the approach simple. And in addition to that, I think, we'd love to also hear more from you about the AI translations and the language, the expanded languages that you're now reaching within the organization. What that may have looked like previously to today.
Yeah, that's a big company like we are. We have also now our own translation department internally. We have even a dedicated team within Global Training, which is only caring about the translation of our learning content. And that means for all learning content, including our training concepts, which will result in a face-to-face training, because normally you have also materials on those trainings you need to provide to the international markets, so that has to be translated, especially for the digital content, like also the self-directed content for the channel world created by the tool. That's now a big advantage of the tool, that you can now create the content in, if you want, up to 60 languages within seconds, and it's really fast. The quality, depending from the language, there's a spread from very good to yeah, okay. I would tell it. So if the language is like English, of course, German is okay or good, French, so the Spanish, so the even Chinese language is pretty good. So what I heard. But if you have languages like Slovenian, which less people in the world speak, so there the machine translation is not perfect, but for those contents we want to publish in the channel world, it's good enough because the people understand. And in our pilot period, we still do kind of quality checks. So some of the languages where we know, I think I know it about Romanian language, so the people are very criticize a little bit the language quality. So there we sometimes do additional checks with professional translators and rework the translation. So that's where we still spend a little bit extra time and money to make the content better. But to round about 80 to 90% of the languages, it's pretty good. Also the voiceover. Of course, you can play around a little bit which voice is the best for your content. So it's the tool offers a wide variety in the main languages like English. I think you have more than 20 different voiceovers you can use. So you can also build dialogues with different voices, but you can figure out which voice is the best for your content. So that's a pretty good thing. And I think at the end we reduce the time from producing the content, starting the language process until it can be published from, I think in the past it was around about 3 to 4 weeks. In our, I think we had a 7 language set which we provide, and with translation done by translators, and do checks and rework everything into the content. You need 4 weeks altogether until you can publish it. And now we reduced it to less than a week. So even if
Wonderful.
we do some smaller checks, and if we can stop those checks, what the plan is in future when the translation quality of the machine translation gets also better in the future, then the plan is to stop additional checks and directly publish the content. And then you have no week between. You finalized your first language, you edit the other languages, and until you can publish it, then the time goes down to 10 minutes, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. And thank you so much for sharing with us more about your pilot and how you're testing that the machine language translations internally to be able to get to that point. That really helps. And I think it leads us to probably one of the last questions on our side for today's discussion is what does the future look like as you're continuing to build out the channels and leveraging the tool and the learning transformation at Mercedes-Benz?
So concerning the tool, the plan is to have so we are close to that, so that we have a kind of an end-to-end solution for our editors who are creating the content. So they can start in the in our LMS. If they need to create a content, they can directly move over to the IMC Express rapid authoring tool, create the content, add once the first language is finished, add all other languages. Maybe they do with some other colleagues a check with a link into the tool, then finalize everything, and then that's the point we're working now right now, is directly publishing the content into the learning management system from the tool. So without having a complex uploading process, just 1 or 2 clicks, publish it into the LMS. And we also find a way to publish it directly in our channel world. So that from finishing the content to publishing it into a channel, and then it's visible to global learners, including notifications that there's new content ready, could take only a few minutes. So that's what where we are working at, and I think we achieved that by the middle of the year. We have the system globally available, and we have the end-to-end process for that. And the other point I mentioned before is it's not really a thing of that tool. What I mentioned before is we want to bring the learning world into our daily systems of the learners, so that they are getting in touch with training all the day. Maybe they do not recognize that content maybe is delivered from the training department, but we go and connect our training world to the daily systems. That's the next big step we want to achieve.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And I might ask, what do you envision as far as the number of editors you'd like to have in the organization contributing to building content? Oops, so sorry. If you have a goal or vision for how many editors across the organization you would like to include in content authoring or editing.
I think we have worldwide in the organization, it's between 500 and 1,000 editors. So I have not a concrete number, but round about that number.
Great. Thank you, Thomas. Is there anything else pertinent that you wish to share in conjunction with this transformation project that we haven't gotten to touch on today?
I see there an interesting comment in the chat.
Happy to take those.
Yeah, that's a good point, how we are learning. And of course, one thing is we do not need to produce content for everything in the future. So we're working on in parallel on AI-driven system, search functionality, chatbots, so that people can interact with the system. So, and for some topics, it should be not necessary anymore to create learning content, spend money and time producing that, but offer the people access to those functions, and they can interact, and then they get directly answers to their questions, additional material. Even I think maybe in future the training world changes in the way that the tools are able to produce the content personalized at the moment when somebody needs it. So maybe there's a skill gap for within or for a specific topic. And the system can recognize that, then nobody needs to create a content, because the content is created automatically by using tools in the background and delivering the content in a personalized way to the learner, so that we don't need to produce content in a way that it looks for everybody in the same way. But that's my vision, and the tools are getting better and better to fulfill that vision.
Thank you for that. Yeah, very exciting, and what the future beholds. Might ask if there are any additional questions Liz, that you're seeing, or
Yes, we are almost at time, but there were a few
okay.
questions, but I'll tag on one. Oh, Emma, you came in with another second one. Great. But I'm going to go with the first one. What success metrics have you given to the business to support the investment of this tool?
It's difficult to answer, but of course we did a lot of polls. We asked our organization, we asked the learners, the learners, especially for the quality, for language quality. So at the end, we get a matrix and we're able to compare the quality of the different languages. Of course, we asked the management in the markets. So we have training managers in the markets who are involved, yeah, that's how we are dealing with that topic.
Fantastic. Well, that is all the time we have today. Before we wrap it up and say our full goodbyes, is there anything else you would like to leave with the audience today, either one of you?
Well, thank you. Just as a sincere thank you to Thomas. I know it's late your evening time, and a sincere thank you to all of our participants. Please reach out with any questions, and we will certainly be following up with the questions that we didn't get to answer today. You do have some contact information. We hope you enjoyed not only the great story that Thomas was able to share with us, but also just seeing some of the additional information. You'll have this available to you for reference as well within the IMC experience. And Thomas, anything from you?
Yes, thank you, Amanda, and that I had a possibility to join that webinar today. So yeah, it was a very interesting session for me as well.
Fantastic. And yes, if you love the deck, everything, we'll be sending out follow-up deck reminders and all of that good stuff, but I am going to take the screen back to say my last goodbyes. So thank you all to our dynamic speakers and sponsors, Biz Library, ELB Learning, Open Sesame, Allego, and IMC Learning. Again, all today's sessions are pre-qualified for a credit hour by SHRM, HRRCI, and ISPI and CPTM. So just shoot an email to me and I will send you those codes. Additionally, I would love to meet you all here in Raleigh, North Carolina for the 2025 Training Industry Conference and Expo, as where learning leaders like you gathers to forge new professional connections, learn from each other, and address the most pressing learning challenges. So we do have early bird until March, so definitely check it out. And additionally, optimize your organizational learning technology lifecycle for lasting business impact. Gain an in-depth understanding of how to select, purchase, implement, maintain, and retire learning technologies with Managing Learning Technology Certificate. One last reminder, that survey will pop open in a browser and when you're exiting, and we would greatly appreciate your feedback. Thank you all for joining us today. And lastly, until next time, I am Liz, and see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.